Hello, this is Reverend Angelia with today's Bible reading. Today's reading comes from 2 Corinthians 11, Paul and the False Apostles. I hope you will put up with a little of my foolishness, but you're already doing that. And, he knows he's kind of over the top. He was zealous when he was, against Christians, and he was zealous when he became one. I am jealous for you with a godly jealousy. And of course, as an apostle, that's what he wants. He wants you to be for God, so he's jealous, for them. He wants them to be Christians and be saved. I promised you to one husband, to Christ. If you know back, it says that Jesus said the church is his wife. When he comes, he'll take, so that's the analogy here is the husband, and the church is his wife. So that I might present you as a pure virgin to him. And by that he means, that once you became a Christian, you didn't go around sinning and things like you used to, when you were not a Christian, that you were pure in your Christianity. But I am afraid that just as Eve was deceived by the serpent's cunning, your minds may somehow be led astray from your sincere and pure devotion to Christ. And here he acknowledges that Eve was led astray by the serpent's cunning. I've heard a lot of macho guys say, the woman made this choice because she was evil and she wanted to. No, the devil tempted her. And because she was innocent being in the Garden of Eden, she didn't know anything about good and bad and, anything like that. She was tempted and led into this because she had no idea. So I at least like that Paul acknowledged that Eve was deceived by the serpent's cunning because he knew better. They didn't know better, but he did. For if someone comes to you and preaches a Jesus other than the Jesus we preached, or if you receive a different spirit from the one you received, or a different gospel from the one you accepted, you put up with it easily enough. Now, I'm going to touch on that. And some people are not going to like it. There is a certain church that they preach a Jesus different than the Jesus that we know. I'm not going to call them out on that. They know who they are. But there's only one Jesus. There's not another Jesus coming here and there and around in different times. There's one Jesus. And if you receive a different spirit from the one you received. So, if you receive a different spirit, now I've had some people speak over me, but I block that. I don't go along with that. Or a different gospel from the one you accepted. So if you then, turn your back on the gospel that you were taught and so then go following a different gospel of a different Jesus. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that's not right. Like I said, there's a whole area of people out there who are doing this. In my opinion, it's not right. I'm sure they disagree. I know they disagree. But I do not think I am in the least inferior to those super apostles. And by that, he evidently someone has made him feel like that, and that's why he feels the need to say this, because he is not one of the 12 or the 11 at the end who were with Jesus at that point in time. I may not be a trained speaker, and if he's not, he's doing a good pretending job because he's a slick dude, as we've noticed. But I do have knowledge. We have made this perfectly clear to you in every way. So he's letting them know, I'm not an idiot. I might not be, one of the 12 or, a super eloquent speaker, but I know what I'm talking about. Was it a sin for me to lower myself in order to elevate you by preaching the gospel of God to you free of charge? I robbed other churches by receiving support from them so as to serve you. And evidently this is a poor area, and he's saying these other churches, gave a lot, probably more than, they needed to, so that he could come to this area. And when I was with you and needed something, I was not a burden to anyone. For the brothers who came from Macedonia supplied what I needed. I have kept myself from being a burden to you in any way, and will continue to do so. As surely as the truth of Christ is in me, nobody in the regions of Achaia will stop this boasting of mine. Why? Because I do not love you? God knows I do. And I will keep on doing what I am doing in order to cut the ground from under those who want an opportunity to be considered equal with us in the things they boast about. So he's saying, he's going to keep on preaching and teaching, no matter who comes against him, no matter who says, their religion is better or whatever, because he wants you to only boast about God and being saved in Jesus Christ. Those are the only things that you should be boasting about. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, masquerading as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. It is not surprising, then, if his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. Their end will be what their actions deserve. And again, if you're following a false Christ, I pray that you find the right space to find Jesus Christ. He is the only Christ. He said that many will come and say they're me, and they're not. And I was introduced to a religious belief system where that's happening. Like I said, I'm not going to call them out. They know who they are. And, as far as Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light, well, at one point he was, but then he did what he did and he got cast down. But notice all the tempting things on earth look good. Whatever fruit that was that Eve took a bite out, it looked good. It said pleasing to the eye, and so she was tempted by the devil because she didn't know any better. She was a babe in the woods, literally. And so she was deceived. And, if that fruit hadn't been attractive, if the thought of being, as smart as God hadn't been attractive, she wouldn't have bothered. If it was some ugly little bumpy fruit and, the devil just said, it'll make your hair grow or something. He's like, yeah, she wouldn't have done it. She wouldn't have bothered. So it has to be attractive for, you to buy into the temptation. And he says it's not surprising then if his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. And now some of this I just chalk up to ignorance. This is what they were taught. This is what they started to believe. And so they feel like, this is okay, that they believe this, that they have like historical evidences that they quote and show you. And I was interested to learn about it. But having learned about it, I realized it is not the one for me. I do not believe that any Christ has come but Jesus Christ, as he said that was the case. So I do not count myself among those people, even having studied and having someone prayed, I guess, over me about it. It's just not, it's not right. Their end will be what their actions deserve. So he's saying, if you're doing this, and you're doing this, and what's wrong. Now, like I said, I believe there are a lot of people who are involved in such faiths, or, I don't want to use the naughty word, which is cults. Yeah, Jesus was the only Jesus. He's the only Christ. And if someone tells you they're the reincarnation of Jesus, or they are the Christ, they're lying to you. Sorry to burst your bubble on that one, and I know there's some people who are okay with that, but I'm not, and neither was Paul, and neither is Jesus. So, I encourage you, if you don't know Jesus, get you a New Testament Bible, start reading it every day so you can get to know Jesus, so you know and you have a feel for who he is, what he's all about, so that when people come at you with other things, you're not going to be deceived. You might find it interesting from a historical point of view, or like, really, wow, I'm going to read about this because I can't even believe this is real. But staying firm in your faith. And that is it for today. Until next time.